Some things I learned from Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and other successful people. No. 1. Go beyond the obvious answers. The late Stephen Hawking said, "The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge." We all like to think we know what we don't know. It is much harder to know what you don't know. To go further, you have to understand how little you understand. You need to question everything. Let me share with you an example from my own life. When I was around 25 years old, I had read quite a few books about success and self-development. I thought I knew all there was to know, and then I started my first business. Now, I call that business a side project because it didn't turn out well. But this experience humbled me and taught me that I really knew nothing. So I went back to school and studied marketing. Then when I got into corporate America, I realized just how much I did not know. For example, I remember going to one of my first team meetings at American Express, and everyone in the room seemed to be talking a mile a minute. They were throwing around terms like CRM and KPI, and I felt like I was the only one in the room who didn't know what they meant. At that moment, I realized that despite having read all those books, I still had a lot to learn. This taught me 2 lessons. First, you can never stop learning. There will always be someone who knows more than you. Second, if you want to achieve greatness, you have to be willing to start at the bottom and work your way up. You must be willing to accept that you are a small fish in a big pond. Many people do not want to do this. They want to be big fish in a tiny puddle, no matter how successful you become. If you have the desire to keep growing, you will always find yourself in situations where you are the smallest fish in the biggest pond. That is the price of growth. Are you willing to pay it? No. 2. Don't jump to conclusions. Allow the facts to speak. Everyone loves to have an opinion about everything. But here's the problem. Most people form their opinions without considering all the available evidence. Instead, they jump to conclusions based on limited or biased information. This is what happens when we watch the news. The news is designed to make you emotional so that you will share it with others. But if you take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you realize that the news is often not as important as it seems. Take the example of Brexit. Before the vote, everyone was saying that it would be bad for the economy. The experts said so. Politicians said so, and the media said so. But now that it has happened, it turns out that the economy is doing better than ever. Or consider the prediction that Amazon would destroy retail. Again, the experts said so, politicians said so, and the media said so. But now it turns out that Amazon is just another place to buy stuff online. In reality, the impact of Brexit and Amazon are nowhere near as significant as the media and the experts made them out to be. This is the problem with jumping to conclusions. You end up wasting your time and energy on things that don't really matter. This is why it is important to allow the facts to speak for themselves. Don't let your emotions or biases cloud your judgment. Look at all the available evidence before forming an opinion. Only then can you make informed decisions and avoid wasting your time and energy on things that do and really matter. If you want to succeed in life, you have to be able to see the world clearly and objectively. Don't let your emotions or biases cloud your judgment. No. 3. Do what you love and love what you do. This is the best advice I have ever received, and I wish someone had told me this sooner. If you do what you love and love what you do, money becomes secondary. Let me explain. When I was younger, I used to think that making money was the ultimate goal in life. I thought that if I had enough money, then I would be happy and successful. So I started working hard and climbing the corporate ladder. But no matter how much money I made, I still felt unfulfilled. Then I realized that there was something more important than money, and that was doing what I loved and loving what I did. Once I discovered this, everything changed. Making money became secondary, and I started to enjoy my work much more. I became more creative and productive, and I started to feel a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction that I had never felt before. Here's the thing. When you do what you love and love what you do, you are more likely to be successful. You are more likely to achieve your goals and make money. This is because you are more passionate and committed to your work. And passion and commitment are the most important ingredients for success. I want you to think of someone you know who is passionate about their work. Maybe it's an artist, a musician, or a writer. Think about how dedicated and committed they are to their craft. They don't need any motivation to get started. They just do what they love, and they love what they do. This is the kind of passion and commitment that leads to success. If you want to be successful, you have to find something that you are passionate about. You have to find something that you love to do and commit to it fully. It doesn't matter what you choose to do as long as you are passionate about it and as long as you love what you do. No, for success is a process. As Naval Ravikant puts it, success is a scorecard. Keep playing and you will eventually win. Too many people think that success is a destination, but the truth is, it is a journey. It is a process that requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn from your mistakes. Every successful person I know has failed more times than they have succeeded. They have learned from their mistakes and used them to fuel their success. One of my favorite quotes on this subject is from J.K. Rowling. She said, "It is impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all. In which case, what is the point?" This is such a powerful quote. It reminds us that taking risks and failing is part of the human experience. It is something we should embrace, not fear. When you approach success as a process, you are more likely to be successful. You are more likely to take risks and push yourself outside of your comfort zone. And that is where the magic happens. If you want to be successful, you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to learn from your mistakes and use them to improve. Don't be afraid to take risks and push yourself outside of your comfort zone. That is where the magic happens. Number 5, put your head down and trust the process. One of the most important lessons I have learned from watching videos of Steve Jobs is the importance of putting your head down and trusting the process. It is easy to get distracted by all the noise in the world and to lose focus on your goals. But if you want to be successful, you have to put your head down and trust the process. This means setting clear goals, developing a plan to achieve those goals, and then sticking to that plan even when things get tough. Steve Jobs was famous for his ability to stay focused on his goals and to trust the creative process. He was not afraid to take risks or to go against the grain. And this allowed him to create some of the most innovative products of our time. As he once said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life." Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. These words are so powerful, and they remind us that we are the ones in control of our lives. We have the power to create the future we want to create. So don't be afraid to follow your dreams. Trust the process and put your head down. I hope you enjoyed these 5 lessons from Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and other successful people. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.